Hey y'all, you're watching Porty's Garage. You've been paying attention to my journey with this old Fox here. I've been going through restoring little pieces here and there, nothing major. Well, now we're getting into some big stuff. I have the hood, the trunk, and both front and rear bumpers removed. We're getting ready to hit them with some fresh paint. The hood had some rock chips that were never addressed, and eventually rust got to it. I got a couple pinholes in there. The trunk, I don't even know what to say. That was just totally obliterated. Looked like it spent some time with the Titanic on the bottom of the ocean. And the front bumper, just peeling paint, looked, kind of trailer trash, nothing good like that. And the back bumper, I don't know what was going on. I think they must have been pushing the car with another car that had a front license plate, because you'll see tons of just little, indentations and marks of where something's been repeatedly hitting it. So, gonna do a little prep work. I'm gonna hit it with some OEM paint, see if we can bring this car full circle, clean it up nice and cherry. Let's get started. Got to source a few parts to replace some really rusty things. The trunk, I ended up finding a nice reproduction on eBay. Showed up a little bit dinged and dented, so we'll have to fix that up before we go into paint. And for the hood, they don't make any reproductions for the four-eyed early Fox bodies. Ended up finding one on Facebook Marketplace for a great deal. Gonna start prepping with the rear bumper here. We got a lot of damage to look after, so peeling paint, I want to make sure I get the rest of that off so we don't have it peeling under our new stuff. And all of these little marks right here, I'm gonna try and sand through as many of them as I can, but I don't want to take off too much material, so I'll probably end up doing a few coats of the filler primer, just kind of get everything lined up. And then everything else is pretty basic, flat surfaces, but this valley right here, I did get just a piece of wood, be my little sanding block, and then we'll work our way in there. So I'll get to sanding this and we'll check it out when I'm done. Quick progress shot of how we're doing. Couple notes here. The spots where the paint was peeling, I did go all the way through the paint just to get to the plastic. I didn't want to risk any of that peeling later on, but where it seems like it's holding together, I'm thinking we can put a coat of paint on there. Another thing, I've been splitting my time between using an orbital and just sanding by hand. When the orbital dies, I'll charge it and then go by hand. When you're using the orbital, be really careful to not get too hard on these ridges. If you accidentally get it flat like that, it'll totally cut down and mess up your line. So you can even see in some spots, not that I got it all wet, but like here, I'm leaving this lip, this ridge right here. I'll come back and do that by hand. Other than that, things are just moving along. Get there soon. And bam, we've got a sanded down rear bumper. I cleaned all the dust and stuff off. So what I'm gonna do now, give it a little time to dry. Then I'll hit it with some, mineral spirits or paint prep and hit it with some primer. We'll see how that holds, what it does. And then one thing I did find right here, I started sanding, I'm like, what's this gray stuff? This is kind of new. So, started looking on inside the bumper, and it looks like someone did some sort of spackling repair on it or something. I don't know if that's Bondo or what it is, so I just left it alone. There are some cracks in it up here, but, we'll take care of that when we get to it. Quick progress shot here. Just going over spots that had some lumps and some divots and stuff I didn't like. Just layering them on. Still working through it. Right now we're doing a little wet sanding with 400 grit. One thing that I have been doing is I find once I splash this with water, I can't as well see the parts that I want to start looking at. Everything looks nice and smooth when it's wet. So I took a Sharpie and I've just been drawing lines and X's and circles, and then I know where to start sanding at and where to try and really get this paint popping off at. But we're getting there slowly but surely. And after a few coats of paint and almost 2 cans of spray primer, we're looking pretty set here. And if you remember right in the middle where we had all those circle marks, nice and smooth. Gonna be doing the same process for the front bumper, but I don't think you want to watch hours of me just sanding and priming, so. And while we got all the parts stripped off, went ahead and painted the trunk jamb. I'm going to clean that up, make it look nice once you get everything together. And I also threw a little paint on the license plates around. Got everything loaded up in the back of the truck. Now we're going to roll on down to the one, the only Porty's Garage, where we're going to be building our own little makeshift paint booth, doing some spraying, maybe do a little Bondo bodywork. We'll see what happens. Fortunate enough to live here in a state that doesn't require a front license plate, so we're going to go ahead and cover up those license plate screws in the front bumper, and a little bit of Bondo work on the rear trunk lid that was damaged in shipping. You know, just layer some stuff on, sand it down, layer it on, sand it down, hit it with some filler putty to finish it off. Looks great. Here's the replacement hood I'm going with. Picked up this baby off of Marketplace. Someone was restoring an old barn find, putting a cowl on it. I guess it was freshly repainted when the original owner got sick or something, put it outside under a tarp, and the paint's just been bubbling up. So, not that we wanted to keep it red anyways, but we'll get this baby sanded down and ready for paint. We're getting there, slowly but surely. A lot of these little bubbles in the paint even extend down through a couple of layers of primer. So in some spots I'm going to be going down to bare metal. Other spots, you know, keep at it. Here's how we do paint booths at Porty's Garage. Just a little bit of plastic sheeting, a couple of 2x4s, wedge it up against the ceiling. This way we'll try to keep, you know, any dust and particulate coming off of any shelves in the garage from getting in the paint. And also, slightly just as important, keep the garage from getting black specks of paint all over it. And then we'll finish it off, taping the plastic to the ceiling, try and get as airtight of a seal as we can.
Welcome to my crib, my painting crib. An out of the box little paint booth in your garage. All right, shoot 'em up.
Everything's all painted up. Just going to give it a couple days to sit and cure. Make sure the paint gets nice and hard, and then we'll start with a little bit of wet sanding. That's really going to bring out the shine in this paint and make it look like a showroom fresh car. That's it for today. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe. I got a long ways to go on the Mustang, but it's coming together. And thanks for watching.